Moment when they start a fight with you before they leave the house, don't cry after they leave. Rejoice that they're gone. Soak in the you time. That's where I found me. That's an abusive relationship, or has been in one. Victim blamers and just saying how they say, why don't you just leave, or you should have left, or why'd you stay so long, or I feel you. I know why you're there, or why you stayed so long. How do you leave? The emotional reasons that people do get trapped in these abusive type of situations, the damage that you sustained is not permanent. You have a way to heal it. Whatever you're feeling right now, don't feel hopeless, don't feel helpless, don't go back into CPE, TSD. It's healable. We have life layers. You genuinely, someone who's still in it, I know that I didn't even know how to brush my own hair, let alone get out of the painful situation I was in. But I do know that I made a choice when some really awful things happened in my relationship, and I made a choice 3 years earlier that I was getting out. I was getting out, and I was going to get out safely. And I did. I made it out. The situationship. Possibly you're left in that scenario as well. If anybody is in that situation at the moment, when they start a fight with you before they leave the house, don't cry after they leave. Rejoice that they're gone. Soak in the you time. That's where I found me. That's where I came back to myself. That time where I was left alone by myself, I was meant to break. Because some people can't be alone with themselves. When you start to look into you and you go, I love you, you're awesome. What? Someone's telling you you're not good enough? Have a look at you. Have a look at who you've been. You've always been joyful. You've always been bright. You've always been the life of the party. You've always been everything to everybody. And then all of a sudden you've been isolated. Like there's a reason you were chosen. It's not because you're worthless. It's because you're so valuable that someone felt the need to try to rip that away from you, basically tore strips off you. You are so powerful and so beautiful, and your unconditional love is chivalrous, but to flourish, it's going to require some boundaries. And yes, we have been taught to not love ourselves. We have been taught, oh, that one loves themselves, like it's a bad thing. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have love for yourself, you can't really be in love with anybody else. The devil is not responsible for the evil that happens down here on earth, as much as we'd like to say, oh, the devil is a jealous one. Like all that indoctrination, that fear-mongering from church. Natural laws, cosmic laws, universal laws that govern this universe, these laws are broken. They are broken by human hearts. They are not, and there is hate within those hearts that break them. And then they'll turn around and say, a demon made me do it. No, you invoked a demon within your body and you requested that it be done. Road rage incident where he's yelling at a man and he's got one spirit guide standing beside him, but then he goes into his boot and pulls out a bat, and then the spirit guides change over straight away. Did you notice that though? It wasn't the devil. It was a human making the decision to step it up a level. So the devil's not a scapegoat. He's an equalizer. He's also a thought creation. But because so many of us have got that thought creation, he actually does exist. But it's like anything in our mind. Like, shut your eyes for a moment, please. What do you see? Nothing? Okay, open them again. What do you see now? You know, there's the difference, guys. And that's where the Hermetic principle of all is mind comes into play. Live in heaven on earth on this plane right now, or we can live in hell. All is mind. Shut those eyes, meditate, and when you open them again, let's bring in heaven on earth. Evolution time, people. The actual rituals that took place on this earth to have those demonic entities invoked and to bring them. It's glaringly obvious there's no remedy being taken to fix the situation. Walking away isn't the same as fixing the situation. I digress. Let's focus on a cure. Because if I carry on about humiliation rituals and what's actually been done, and the darkness that exists within the black hearts of this planet, I'll be yelling. And I don't need to. It's out of my hands. My focus is keeping people safe and healing. The souls that never deserve to be attacked in the first place. I'll focus on the healing only from now on. Thought forms. Let's focus on how a thought form attempts to come in to the mind. The thought form, as an energy, it'll come over to you, but if you're not sensitive to energies, basically what will happen is the thought runs through your mind. It's an awful thought. It makes you angry. Do you accept the thought as yours, as a truth? Yes. In majority of times, we're just going to assume it's ours because whose else could it be? It was in our mind. At a similar timing, your partner is going through a similar moment. Wow. Our unevolved reptilian frontal lobe thinking will immediately start World War IV in your home. Who escapes? That's pretty difficult. That's a pretty difficult one, isn't it? Because who does escape? All I can say is I'm grateful for my life and I want to help others with mastery of their emotions. Actually ask yourself when you have a terrible thought, because I feel it would be easy to say, oh, no thoughts are our own, but that's when we've got to go into meditation and deep contemplation and things like that, and that's where you can really find your peace and your centeredness, and you can actually see that there's thoughts that just move through your mind, but you just don't pay them any mind, don't pay them any attention. That's how you're actually moving through them. But when it comes to these thought forms that are taking us over and actually creating insidious acts of violence to happen, a lot of it's got to do with this reptilian brain that we're working out of. And what activates the reptilian brain? It's watching the news. It's living in a fear state to begin with. We've got to come back to our hearts. We've got to start living through our hearts. It's the only way that you're going to be able to achieve that mastery, to be able to control your emotions so as not to take on these harmful energies as they come at you. Also, as if you're a spiritual person like myself, I just couldn't be with anybody who lives in a fear state again, just because of my higher vibration. I've actually worked out it's actually dangerous for me to be around people who don't know how to protect themselves spiritually. So, and I'm not saying that I always did. I definitely I got furiously angry, like at my situation. But was it appropriate for me to take on that angry feeling as if it really belonged to me? No. It's about mastery and about actually controlling your emotions despite what's actually going on within our own minds or around us. It's about emotional alchemy. Yes, you've got to feel all your emotions, but in what sense do you feel all these emotions? Do you explode them onto somebody else, or do you do it in a controlled environment? That's the importance of releasing the anger that flows through you. And yes, we're here to feel all the emotions. We can't pretend anger doesn't exist. I'm not attempting to come off counterintuitive by suggesting that. What I'm saying is release anger in a controlled environment, not onto another human being. With true testimony of how being heart-centered, which is living in your Christ-conscious self, letting go of all fear, all hate, all anger, and living through the heart. And that is when you activate your armor of God. That's activating the Holy Ghost, our true biofield protection. And we are all capable of achieving this state within ourselves. And if God's for you, who can be against you? I implore anybody who needs to get in control of their emotions or is in a trapped, stuck situation. And I will not call you completely responsible for this yourself. What many of us have been set up from people that you would be amazed by. And because I've got mediumship abilities, I know that there's been a lot of women lost to violence, and there's a lot of restitution being demanded from them, but we've still got many more that we can save. We're not going to see 70 more die this year. It's going to be less. That's why getting this message out is so important. If you feel like you're in danger, reach out. Do you know what was interesting to me when I reached out to 1-800-RESPECT? They said to me something like, I said, the police can't save you anyway. But interestingly enough, the lady said back to me, yes, being brainwashed is, one of those situations that you deal with whilst you're in a, abusive relationship. And I was like, at the time, it made me annoyed because I was looking to her thinking, what do you know? Nah. Truth is, police got to my door within about 4 minutes of me calling them. Apparently, they were just around the corner. What a bonus for me. I don't know why they were so close by, but I do know one thing, that we're protected by forces that we wouldn't even know. I know so much help from other realms, and they want to help, and they love you so much, and they want to, help make your life as great as it can be here on earth. So always your light team, your guides, your guardians, your ancestors. It's not right that a lot of us have been told your ancestors, they're all demonic entities or, things like that. But think about it. They're asking you to then invoke their deity only. Like, the Bible is there. It's got so much greatness to it. It's also got some things in there to trap you up, and teachings that are going to make your life more difficult and make you suffer while you're here on earth. You don't need to suffer. You don't need to be under attack every time you go out of the house. You don't need to suffer in these ways. I apologise to anybody who's hurt by what I'm saying, but I have been to church myself and I have seen the pain within churches. From a spiritual point of view, where I'm not going to be run by the Bible, but I'm definitely going to take the most beautiful parts of the Bible out and I'm going to use them. And it's what I am guided to do by God. You prefer the God of this world, which I have a huge respect for. Why? Because he's always going to uphold universal law. Lucifer apparently likes to tempt as well, but they're only there to tempt your heart, just to check if it's still black and where you deserve to be in the whole scheme of things at the end of the day, because no one is above the laws of the universe. Each will be held accountable. But while we're here on earth, to be able to coexist, light and dark must be within balance. People who are just following that Bible and really believing that it is this way, you must believe the whole Bible or none of the Bible, which, that sounds demonic in itself, because something that isn't coming from a demonic place would be turning around and saying, you draw your own conclusion, because that is more Jesus's way. It's more coming from the crucifiers of Jesus and people who are chosen ones, but you're not chosen. You are heart-centered beings, and you're people who have chosen not to live out of your reptilian brain. You're living out of your heart center. Those people that are living out of their heart centers, otherwise known as chosen ones, who have escaped all sorts of ridiculousness that's been going on across. But I think there's a lot of people across the globe, particularly what happened to me. There was one guy who was upset that I rejected him, but he didn't want to date me anyway. He just wanted me to want him. And because I didn't, I ended up getting gang stalked for a year. And I think my ex-partner had something to do with it, but I'm kind of thinking it was more this other guy. He seemed to... Well, it turns out it was the other guy that had the pull to get a whole group of individuals involved, which it goes deep. But my ex was running around saying I was this, I was that, and I was everything else, just because he didn't want anybody else to like me.
Then I put
And
forth
because he wanted to act like his energies were all nice, like mine was.
One bird,
I was
two
a mum
wings,
running
two
around
wings, same bird,
with
it's
like a
all a
floozy.
farce.
What?
It's
I haven't been
it's
out
a political joke.
since I turned
Our
30.
best chance is,
You know what I
actually,
mean? Yeah, I had
shouldn't
a
put
lot of
that
fun in my
here. I would
20s.
like to.
Well, after I had my first baby,
Anyway,
I haven't been out
I'm not trying to
partying
make you guys
since.
angry
I
anymore.
think I went out one
But
night
I
with
think
the
the truth
girls and they all
needs to
treated
come
me
out.
strangely, and I was like,
But
never
to
want to
have
see any of you
be
ever again.
attacked all because
Turned
I
out I
rejected
was getting
somebody so severely.
this
got
chosen
attacked.
ones get
Like
used
that,
to this
I
happening
should
to
be
them. But
entitled
apparently,
to
like,
not want
this
to be
chick
with
had just
anybody,
told him all these
especially if I
stories
feel that
about
I'm
me that wasn't
intruding on my
even freaking
energies
true.
or
And I
just
had
being
best friends
disgusting
of
to me.
mine
And if
that
they're
I
not
have
at
done
the same
nothing
level
but
of
be
awareness and spiritual
heart-centered
growth
to.
as I am,
Like, if they tell me
why
that their
do
partner's sick or
why do I
anything, I'm
have
sending
to?
healing.
I'm
Like
sorry that his
and they
feelings
were
got
all
hurt.
rude to me. Oh, I
But I
decided
think
I
that's
never wanted to see
disgusting what
any
I
of
got
them
put
ever
through by
again.
this whole
And I'm
group
stuck
of
to it
people.
too.
And when you
It's just
realise how thick
unkind.
and connected
No matter what
it is,
anybody said, they know who I am. There was no way I
moving
should have been
forward.
treated like that. Anyway, me releasing right now is just emotional alchemy. You got to say it out loud. You got to feel it. You got to release it. Once you've said it out loud, your attachment to the anger at the situation, it's gone. As long as you've experienced the emotion, you can remove it from your system. And if we're not doing stuff like this, like removing the anger from our systems or, these thought forms that we do take on, that we do claim as being ours, if we don't work out a way to alchemize them within our systems, we can't make use of them in a more positive way, they're going to create disease within the body. And that's the point, isn't it?
We all deserve to be able to be connected up to God. He doesn't look at us. You'll actually see the people who look like they're more connected to God than others at the moment. Why? Because God wasn't looking for actors. He was looking for real people. Love, if you'd like to join any of my courses or communities,
start out by going to kicrystal.com.
Also, I've got a great range of products available. If you want to move away from this reptilian brain of living through fear and everything like that, yes, I admit it was kind of scary what happened to me in the past 12 months because I rejected somebody. You're not allowed to reject anybody anymore. Do you realize how mind-blowing that is? Anyway, moving forward, I'm not concentrating on that. I'm just a little bit shocked that happened. Somebody got to have a little sook like that, and then my whole family is under attack. You people who did that, I will shut up now because I'm sure you're getting yours. You don't get away with that kind of behaviour, not to human beings. It wasn't human at all in this moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. That's huge what I've just done there. Hopefully, I know it's a little bit scatty. It's just really difficult getting this information out, apart from the fact that I'm sure that people do not want me saying this. Like, there would be massive blocks up against me actually saying this to the publicly and trying to free us all of it. Okay, so if I haven't made logical sense, all of it running in one line, I've got a bit over there, bit over there, bit over there. That's ADHD and also trauma that I've sustained throughout my life. So just bear with me on that one. But I think you get the understanding. It's hopefully, with those words I've just spoken and sending it up to the Court of Attrition, I'll do some more work on that after I close up this. Taking accountability ourselves and self-mastery in every opinion, every thought, just like in meditation, how we don't take it on in your everyday life. Examine it first and run it through your heart. Does it feel true? Because I don't just go believing everything I hear. I'm not a follow the leader kind of gal. Ask yourself right now, is what I'm saying, does that make sense? We are aware that there are people out in the woods, dancing around fireplaces and stuff like that. And there's some pretty highfalutin members of our societies that have been caught out in them woods. So let's get on top of it and get in control of our emotions to save lives. And this is also called emotional alchemy. You got to let your anger out about this stuff. Yes, it happened to me. Yes, it did. Can I get over it? Yes, I can. Do I want to harp on about it a little bit more? Maybe, but maybe I should do that in my own time. But chosen ones, which isn't chosen ones. We're all chosen. Many are called, few are chosen, or whatever people say. Live through your heart. Okay? Just live out of your heart. Because that's what Gaia's supporting now. It's time for heaven on earth. It's time for utopia. It's time now. No more women lost to violence. All of the spells, all of the castings to bring forth these demonic entities, every part of that is sent to God and his court of attrition. Pay it forward sessions are available to anyone in need. So if you want to donate and give somebody a pay it forward session or have one sitting there for anybody in need, you can certainly donate a contribution via the website kicrystal.com, or that's moving energy. A yawn is moving energy. If you're somebody who can't afford a session but needs a session because you're in need at the moment, make contact, okay? Book yourself in the appointment. It's free and you'll get ongoing support from then onwards depending on your situation. Thanks.